Can you open the windows, please?
Hello, it's so good to see you again. I'm Barbara, and together with my husband Daniel, I restored a historic sailing ship, Flying Coney. Right now we are in the shipyard on Urk, and the next big step is to remove the old improvised generator to gain better access to the hull in the engine room.
One of the main goals in this shipyard time is to gain access to as many hull sections and bilge compartments as possible. This generator here is placed on a pedestal, so we have absolutely no access underneath this generator here. Since we do need to cut directly next to the hull, it will destroy the paint, so that's a good idea to do it on the hard, because otherwise if we would do it in the water, first of all we're introducing heat, so there's also the possibility if a rivet opened up, and if there's already paint on the outside, we would destroy it, and having no anti-fouling on the outside is not good. So a few more details to this generator. It's a DIY improvised generator. This part here was a very old welding machine, and usually what you did, you had a strong electric motor on this end, a three-phase one, so with 380 volts. And on building sites, for example for the railroad, if you had electricity, you could power the welding machine and you could weld in the 1920s, 1930s, something like that. These welding machines also had a pulley wheel on the front, because at the time it wasn't too common to have strong electric power on the building sites. So that way you could hook up a tractor unit or something like that to the welding machine, and then you could weld. And the previous owner of this ship had the idea of plugging in an engine directly into the welding machine. First of all, that way he could weld on the boat. And second of all, if you reverse it, it acts like a generator, so you get a three-phase power out of this unit. Welding and having electricity. And we're talking about the late 70s, early 80s, so generators for ships were really, really expensive at that time. So that was a way to solve this problem.
Is it heavy?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. We, however, do not trust the systems, so we want to get rid of this welding generator. We haven't decided what we do with the Perkins engine. Since we're on the hard, time is certainly a factor, and of course we could do something like that on our own. But if I do it, it take me about 3, 4, 5 times longer than what the lads from the shipyard can do. But of course, we try to minimize the work they have to do, so we covered up the engine and try to separate the rest of the engine room through tarps to keep it as clean as possible, and also the cleanup will be something for us. Sorry for the noise.
Want some water?
Yep.
Can you open the windows, please?
Since we can't reach down into the bilge compartments, the dirt and the grease that accumulated down this pedestal, it caught fire multiple times, so that's why we brought down a water hose, and I needed to put it out a few times. That was my task, my job.
We only have one entrance to the engine room, so when the grease started to burn and smolder, the smoke filled the complete compartment. And even with fans, it wasn't possible to get completely rid of it. But Jan and Henrik managed to cut the Perkins engine loose, even in low visibility conditions. And the next step is to move it from port to starboard.
Ik wil misschien even zo pakken.
Is dat bijna uit? Ja, dan moet je nog op.
Takel maar.
Ja, goed.
Both were decently gentle with the Perkins engine because we told them that we might want to reuse this engine. So why have we kept the Perkins engine? And there are actually two reasons. The first reason is it does not fit through the engine room hatch. The second point is we do have planned to reuse this engine as a multi-purpose auxiliary engine. So to connect a strong deck wash and emergency bilge pump and hydraulic pump, so in case we're getting a bow thruster or steering in a harbor, something like that, the automatic steering, that it does not change with the engine RPM, maybe we can connect the water maker to it, or things like that. And actually the Perkins P3 engine, it's a quite reliable and strong little engine. It's quite famous in Massey Ferguson tractor units, so it's quite old also, and it has been a part of the ship for quite a while now.
And just like that, the generator was cut loose. But before we lifted out the really narrow engine room hatch, I want to answer a very important question. What's about the leak? Our long-term viewers will remember that the main reason why we booked our time on the Hart was a reaping spot in the engine room bilge. The water was coming from somewhere behind the engine foundation, a compartment where we don't have access to. And as soon as Flying Coney was on the Hart, we tried to find the leak. But we, the pressure washer and the hammer from the surveyor couldn't find any problematic area. Over the decades, a lot of dirt and grease accumulated behind the engine foundations. And apparently there was some water encapsulated within this grease. So even though our engine room was bone dry, there was still some water sitting there. And when we removed some grease while cleaning out the engine room bilge, it started dripping out of one of the limber holes. So actually there is no leak. The water was coming from inside the boat. So a lot of effort for a little bit of water trapped in grease. However, for us this was a warning shot, and we want to have access to the hull everywhere in the engine room. So this is why we removed the generator and the pedestal it is standing on. And now let's get rid of this big chunk of metal.
a lot of money, zeg je.
Ja, dit al een puur voor hem niet zo.
Ja, dat klopt, ja. Alle spoelen en alles zit erin.
So removing the old generator and the Perkins engine went fairly smooth yesterday. Jan and Hendrik did a great job. It was absolutely tough work and they did it in about 2.5 to 3 hours, cutting it loose, putting the Perkins engine on the other side of the engine room, lifting the generator through the very narrow engine room hatch. At one point this thing was just swinging around and Jan was sitting there with his sunglasses like Jimmy Cool.
And just like that, the generator is gone. A huge thanks to Jan and Hendrik, who did an amazing job and worked really fast despite the crazy hard conditions. And also a huge thanks that we are allowed to film all this hard work. It gives us the opportunity to share each and every step of this whole refit project with you. And while talking about opportunities, a huge thanks to our generous supporters. Without you, this refit project and especially this shipyard time wouldn't be possible. And if you want to support the Flying Coney project too, then leave a super thanks, a PayPal donation or join our crew on Patreon to get access to real-time updates and additional content. The links are in the description. Next time we will remove the pedestal, so it will get pretty smoky again. And if you don't want to miss it, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so YouTube notifies you as soon as we publish the video. And that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.